In this video, you're going to learn the secrets to generational wealth coming up. So I know we talk about financial freedom and a lot of other things on this channel, and I wanted to take a moment to really talk about generational wealth and how to reach that and what it's all about. What are the things involved in reaching generational wealth? So I think there are essentially three barriers to reaching generational wealth. And, these are things that if you get one of them wrong, generational wealth may not happen for you. So you have to kind of get these three things right for generational wealth. Now, building wealth is one thing. You can be a person that can build wealth for him or herself in a span of time in your lifetime. But generational wealth is different in that it is wealth that is passed down from generation to generation and from family members to family members, so that your entire family unit is wealthy based off of what one generation may have done to generate the wealth that they generated. So let's talk about the three barriers to reaching that point of generational wealth. The first barrier is achieving financial freedom. And I know this is kind of the backbone of, reaching wealth as we discuss it on this channel. And, and you'll find in a lot of other places, reaching a point of financial freedom is crucial to building wealth, because financial freedom is what's going to allow you to be in a place where you're not angst about money, where you're not having to worry about your bills, where you're not having to, worry about the things that go along with not really having money, having a poverty mindset and all of those things included. And financial freedom is going to get you to a place where you can start to invest and build other passive income sources that are going to pay you while you're not specifically working. And that's one of the main things about building wealth. You have to be making money, lots of money, while you're not working. And those revenue engines have to keep going even when you are not around anymore, for your families and for your families' families and so on and so forth. So those things that you're doing, those things that you're setting up, those have to be things that continue. So that is the first barrier to really building wealth and generational wealth, is understanding how to reach a point of financial freedom and financial independence. Now, the number two barrier to achieving generational wealth is protecting your wealth. A lot of times, people can make a lot of money or become wealthy over time. As we mentioned, a lot of people can become wealthy, but if they don't understand their tax code, if they don't understand, the fluctuations in the different markets that they're in, they may be having a business that is, doing great for 20 years and then the next 20 years it does horribly, and you lose everything. There's so many different factors that can take the money that you took a long time to make or that you made in a short amount of time. There's so many factors that can take those things and really change your wealth perspective, or the perspective of wealth that you may have right now can change really quickly if you don't understand how to protect your wealth. So that is the second barrier, that, people who are really wealthy and have generational wealth, they have mastered how to protect their money. The first thing they may have done is, figured out how to accumulate money in mass amounts really quickly, whether it's, passive income or what have you, as we discussed. But the second thing they've learned how to do is really to protect their wealth, whether that be the IRS, whether that be criminals, whatever comes their way, they understand how to protect their money and protect their wealth from that. Real quick, if you found any value in this video so far, please do drop this video a like. And if this is your first time to the channel, please do consider subscribing and sharing this video and other videos if you do find value in them. Now back to the video. Now, the number three barrier to generational wealth is one of the things that I think is most important and most key when you're talking about generational wealth and not just regular wealth, and that is the transfer of knowledge. And what I mean by this is that, again, you can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money. You can, in whatever season of your life, and make a big impact in terms of your finances and become wealthy, whether that be millions or billions or what have you. You can become wealthy. But that does not necessarily mean that your kids and your kids' kids and those generations after you are going to be wealthy, because they might not have the same knowledge base or same understanding of how that wealth was generated or how that wealth was created. So it's very likely that if that knowledge base is not transferred down, eventually that wealth is going to go away because you're not going to have the same mechanisms in place of understanding of how to get there. And this happens, a lot of times people may be, mega wealthy in a business or, have made a lot of money in a variety of different things. And, they may have accumulated so much wealth that they are able to take care of, generations and generations after them. But at some point, if that understanding of how to proliferate that is not there, if there are not mechanisms in place that say, hey, every time someone is born in our family, this is what they need to understand. Every time someone is born of this name, this is what they need to understand. If there aren't those mechanisms in place, then eventually some generations down the line, that wealth is going to not be there anymore, or that wealth is not going to transfer over because the knowledge of how that wealth is being created is not transferring over. This has actually been proven in a lot of different wealthy families over the years. A lot of studies have been done about this, where you have one wealthy family that may have lasted for this amount of years, and then you have another family that may have lasted for more years or may still be wealthy because of the practices that they practice when people are born into their families and how they transfer the knowledge of how to build wealth. Because think about it, most of the time, most of the ways we, think about money and all of that is really passed down from one generation to the next generation. Most of the understandings we have about working and how money is made in our lives, we learn from our parents, or we learn from the communities that we grow up in. If we grow up in a community that is, on a certain wavelength in terms of money, then you're going to have that understanding of money, and that is the understanding you'll pass down until you understand something better or until you get out of that environment. And that is really what happens. We pass down these understandings. And even if we do, as I said, one generation get out of that, because we don't pass down a core mechanism throughout our family unit that says, hey, this is what you have to do to keep this generational wealth moving forward, it's going to change over time. It'll change, because people's philosophies and what people ultimately want to do changes over time. So, they don't really have that core understanding, and they won't pass that core understanding on. So it's very important that, we do that we do understand these are the three things that we do have to master to have generational wealth proliferate through our family and throughout our generations. And I want people to really understand this and really take this to heart, because even on a small scale, if you understand how to transfer the knowledge of how you're building wealth in your family, it will go a long way to keeping your family out of some of the pitfalls that happen with, financial situations in the world, even on a small scale. Even if you don't have millions and billions of dollars, starting that knowledge transfer of how to build wealth or how to conduct yourself financially or how to do all these things that, lead you to financial freedom, whether it be passive income or what have you. If you start to transfer that knowledge in your family and make sure that everybody is on accord with those things, it becomes a process of wealth building within your family structure. And that's how you create generational wealth. And that is how generational wealth is passed down from generation to generation. I hope this has been extremely helpful for someone. And until we talk again, I wish you health, wealth, and freedom.